People love to argue about team sports versus individual sports. Which one's harder? Which one builds character? Which one matters more? Most of that debate misses the point. The real difference isn't toughness or pressure. It's ownership. In team sports, responsibility is distributed. You can play well and still lose. You can play poorly and still win. You can make the right decision and watch someone else undo it. That doesn't make team sports worse. They teach cooperation, leadership, sacrifice, and strategy. But they do something else too. They blur accountability. When something goes wrong, the question becomes, who messed up? And the honest answer is often, it depends. Individual sports are different. Golf, tennis, wrestling, track, swimming. There's nowhere to hide. If you win, it's you. If you lose, it's you. If you don't prepare, it shows. If you don't adjust, no one adjusts for you. That clarity changes how effort feels. People often assume individual sports are more pressure. Sometimes they are. But for a lot of people, they're actually less stressful. Because ambiguity is stressful. Not knowing whether effort matters. Not knowing whether improvement will be noticed. Not knowing whether responsibility will be shared or shifted. Individual sports remove that noise. You always know where you stand. This becomes especially clear in sports like boxing, MMA, wrestling, or jiu-jitsu. Not because they're violent, not because they're extreme, but because ownership is absolute. You're not just performing, you're physically engaged with another human being. They're on top of you, you're tired, you're uncomfortable, sometimes you're in pain. And there's no one else to look to. No teammate to bail you out, no system to hide behind, no explanation that softens the moment. You either figure it out or you don't. That's why a lot of people, especially guys, feel a deep respect for individual combat sports. Not because they want to fight, not because they want to hurt someone, but because the ownership is undeniable. It's you managing fear, discomfort, effort, and decision-making in real time. That teaches something important. Not aggression, not anger, but self-regulation. That's also why wrestling is such a powerful sport for kids. Not because it teaches violence, but because it teaches control. You learn how to hold someone without harming them, how to apply pressure without panic, how to stay calm when you're uncomfortable. Those are life skills. They translate to confidence, restraint, and respect, not chaos. And at the same time, team sports teach things individual sports can't. They teach you shared credit, accepting roles, lead without ego, sacrifice personal success for collective success. They teach strategy, they teach communication, they teach patience. Some of the best parts of who I am came from team sports. But here's the key point. They teach different lessons. The problem isn't choosing one over the other. The problem is pretending ownership feels the same in every structure. It doesn't. Some people thrive when responsibility is shared. Others thrive when responsibility is clear. Neither is morally better. But forcing everyone into the same system creates quiet failure. You see this everywhere outside sports. Some people love group projects. Some people shut down in them. Some people thrive in big organizations. Others suddenly come alive when they work solo. It's not rebellion. It's alignment. Ownership changes how people relate to effort. When effort clearly belongs to you, you invest differently. You practice differently. You recover differently. You take feedback differently. Not because you're tougher, because the feedback loop is honest. This is why I pay attention to ownership. In sports, in school, in work, in life. Because when people feel ownership, they don't need motivation speeches. They self-regulate. And when they don't feel ownership, no amount of encouragement fixes it. So the question isn't, should everything be a team? The question is, where does ownership actually live? Because wherever ownership is clear, growth usually follows. Before you go, I want to mention something quickly. If this video helped you make sense of school, pressure, or what's happening at home, I've put that thinking into a short book called The Parent Playbook for School. It's not advice and it's not a program. It's just a calm explanation of why school feels heavier than it should and how to stop carrying pressure that isn't yours. It's linked in the description if you want it. Thanks for being here.